Alright guys, welcome. We're about to cast the in-house Grand Finals, which is going to be a lot of fun. Big thanks to Booyah, lovely tournament admin and clan manager of Taste the Bacon, the most delicious of clans, for linking me out these replays. He said the players that practiced were 3.75k and above up to Masters League. So basically kind of the higher end of Diamond League. Butzelbear, the Protoss player, is actually a former Masters Zerg, but has switched to Protoss a while ago, about a year ago. And he seemed very solid as a 4.1k Protoss. I didn't consider him the favorite, as there were other good players, some of whom were former Masters also. During the tournament, especially at the end of it though, Butzelbear got better. And broke into Masters, though it was just the very low end of Masters, so they allowed him to continue playing in the tournament, of course. Rocket, the Terran player, plays in a lot of our league matches, so I get to see him a lot. I know him more for his TVT, but he played some good TVP games as well in those events. He won a good Protoss player at the semis, so actually, even though he's a bit lower in MMR, the difference is small. Rocket knows how to play TVP very effectively in a tournament. All right, guys, let's go. Let's not dilly-dally. Thank you so much, Booyah, for hooking me up with that little bit of backstory. Always add something to kind of know what's going on. This is, of course, the in-house tournament. Down in the bottom left, in the red, representing Taste the Bacon, it's Rocket. A red Rocket. Oh, God. Because he's red. Up here in the top right, in the blue, it's Butzelbear. So it's going to be TVP here, in-house Grand Finals. We have a lot of like in-house tournaments and stuff. Always fun to play through a bracket. A lot of clan wars going on. So time for the weekly plug. Get in the Discord, join my clan, join another clan, play some team leagues. It's all fun. It's all fun. People often think like a clan means you're a bunch of dudes sitting around a fire drawing pentagrams and, you know, talking in 4chan memes and shit like that, and like praising the fucking, you're like, oh, praise Lord Gaben, praise Lord Gaben. And then you go and like you have to find the details of someone who's like stood up for feminism on social media, and then you need to like dox them and send death threats to them and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not what a clan is about. A clan is a bunch of people that enjoy the same hobby and like playing together. That's it. And it doesn't mean you're all hanging out in this chat channel. It's literally just like, oh, cool, we can sign up for a team. Like, it's like having a weekend football team. It's good fun. You don't have to be a fucking weirdo. You don't have to be a neckbeard. You can be all of those things. We welcome them. But it's not what it's about. You don't have to. So this is my plea to the normies to join the clan. Because we have an ongoing war in Taste the Bacon against the fucking weebs. You keep trying to overrun our borders and get in and overwhelm and be like, oh, weeb, ha ha ha, ooh, oh. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Take your weeb shit out of me, clan. I don't know what you're talking about, you crazy people. So normies who think being in a clan for a video game is something you don't have time for, honestly, I just wish more people would realize how much more fun all games are, but especially StarCraft, a 1v1 game, when you play it as part of a community, when you can hook up with someone of a similar league in your clan, play a bunch of custom maps together, learn a matchup, figure out how to play the game better. Where whenever you lose to Protoss for the third time in a row and you feel like tearing your hair out, you can go in your clan channel and vent and talk about how you think Protoss is bullshit. And once you calm down, you're probably going to have someone offering to look at your replays and give you some free advice, give you some coaching tips. StarCraft becomes a much less lonely experience and much easier to not just be, you know, permanently tilted. I feel like I know a lot of players who only play on their own, and they very commonly end up in this dark space. They're like, oh, this fucking thing, I don't know how to stop it. And, you know, like, I'm always encouraging people to get more involved, like, especially a lot of people who come to me for coaching. I go, cool, one of the questions I ask when I send them in my template of all the information I want them to give me before we start is, are you in a clan? And do you have any practice partners? Do you have any people you regularly play games with? And the vast majority of the time, the answer is no. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't really have time for that. And the thing is, if you're playing several hours of StarCraft a day, if you're playing, you know, 10 hours a week or something, even less than that, 3 or 4 hours a week, getting in a clan, it just adds some fun, especially if you've got like a weekly clan war match or something to play. It's really good. Things like CTL, we're always on the hunt for Gold League players. One of the problems with joining a clan is you tend to rank up very quickly once you're playing in a community. There's lots of people helping each other out. So we're always looking for new lower league players to join the clan to kind of fill out the ranks for Chobo Team League and some of those. So join the Discord, get in there, !Discord in my chat anytime, day or night, whether I'm offline or online. My bot will give you a link. There's clan managers in there who manage it. I do get a lot of messages in-game and on social media saying, hey, how can I join your clan? I don't actually invite people to the clan, guys. The clan managers run all the day-to-day. I am the casting mascot. I am the guy who sits here and kind of watches and goes, cool. Let's advertise it. Let's keep a good, happy environment. Woo, it's a clan. Taste the bacon. Then I make some dumb, dirty joke and I start making this sound. Talking about moist bacon slapping and shit like that. Ooh, Stalker does go down to the Widow Mine. That's what I'm here for, guys. I'm the fucking dude in the stupid pig suit running around the stadium while the actual stars make shit happen and the people run the club. I am a mascot, so hit up the clan managers if you do want to join. They'll help you out. And they will, of course, run you through the rigorous testing to see if you're up to join the ever exclusive clan. Are you good enough? Probably not. Probably not. Most of you won't make it in. I really want to hit up the clan managers and ask for their stories of like people who've somehow managed to not get in the clan. They're like, I'm sure there's like one person's like, let me in your fucking clan, you idiots. And they're like, oh, nah. Like, that's probably the only way you could get us to not invite you. That's like, why do you guys, so elitist? You're like, what is happening? So yeah, as long as you don't verbally assault the people, you know, as long as you don't display your dickheaded characteristics, you should be fine. Should get invited in. Oh, nice blink in. He's gonna pick off 2 SCVs before those barracks get built. That Widowmine drop just waiting. Rocket's just waiting. Just 3 Stalkers here for Butzel, bouncing around. Is he gonna go for the tank? Oh, Butzel! Oh, big Stalker Butzel! Oh, big Stalker Butzel! Is he gonna get it though? Oh, he's trying to repair, but it's not quick enough. Oh, Butzel. Big Stalker Butzel. Huge Stalker. Gets a siege tank, forcing mining time. He's gonna blink on out of there. Rocket's like, you're a dickhead, man. Oh no! Oh, he stopped watching because the Widow Mine dropped. Oh, he does pull mostly out of time though. Oh, loses a Stalker, loses a couple of probes there, not too many. There's one Widow Mine that hasn't burrowed. Don't go back. No! No! Okay, it does go down. It does go down. That was professional commentary noises, by the way, guys. I learned those at the school of making random noises rather than saying words. It's a special technique only the best commentators can do. Dabbity doobity. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Marklar. So Colossus is on the way here for Butzel. No upgrades, but has a well-timed third. Can get ahead in that economy over the next minute or two. Stim and Shield still a while away. Tank count is building up. Couple Vikings on the way very early here for Rocket. No medevacs are out. I think Rocket might just be going straight mass Viking and just have like no healing to obviously counter those Colossus. I mean, the first Colossus is going to pop out. There's already 2 Vikings on the map, so he's got a head start on that Viking count, that's for sure. You can use those to shut down prisms as well. Whenever a Protoss player shows a prism being active on the map, like the first thing I do is just build a Viking, because I feel like it's such a no-brainer. You can build like 5 missile turrets to cover your base, or you can just have 1 Viking. I think the Viking's always the better call. You can tell Rocket's stim upgrade has been sniped previously, because he's building a bunker and a tank next to his double tech lab. He's like, stay out of my base! Bloody Protoss! Supply is doing good for him, but double Forge is on the way, Templar Archives. Butzel's just like rushing up the tech tree. Right now, Butzel has next to no units on the ground, is being like mega greedy, but because Rocket's just so turtled up, I think Butzel might get away with it. Might just be able to explode into the gateway count. He's already on 4 gateways, chrono boosting Colossus, and I wonder if he goes straight for Storm. I mean, this is what a lot of Protoss players do, is just be mega greedy, because they see the Terran player just kind of sitting there. The power of just kind of moving around a little bit. And also, this is the reason why I always build a turret here, guys, is just to try to clear some of this vision up. But you got to get rid of that observer. This medevac does get shot down. Yeah, so very slowly going into 3rd CC, double upgrades is Rocket, but I definitely give the advantage to Butzel. Hitting a supply block though, still hasn't exploded into the gateway count, nor added Storm. So like Butzel's got to get a hurry on. Like when you're being this greedy, you need to hit your macro stride. And yeah, chrono boosting Storm, chrono boosting upgrades. Needs that gateway explosion in the near future. It takes a 4th base off 4 gateways. You're kidding me. As many Nexus as gateways. Butzel going full greedy Protoss, taking it to the maximum. Going 4 base first too. He's going to go out to try and ambush this army, but Oh man, Storm's still a while away. There's no meat in this army at all. Rocket could literally just stim and kill this army. Butzel trying to ambush this, but he has not been warping in units. Only now do 4 more gateways start. Oh, Butzel is in such a good position, but just not quite on the point with adding those gateways. And those High Templar, they've almost got Storm energy. Storm will be done soon. The Vikings are already doing a good job, but you can tell Rocket here has definitely had some bad times against Protoss armies before. A really cool thing that you guys should always start doing as a Terran. Be careful with your army, be methodical like Rocket's doing. But you know what makes this a lot easier? Send a single Liberator or a drop into the back as you push out on the map or as you get halfway across the map. And your opponent will usually pull home to deal with that, and it allows you to just freely walk across the map. As it is, Rocket's managed to get a very good position, but Storm's the problem. Oh no, pull back, don't clump in there, run away with the bio, those Storms! Ah! Good spreads, but a little bit slow in the initial spread, but nonetheless does manage to take out this army. There's just so few Zealots in there, so little meat. Butzel, just not getting that gateway count as fast as he needed it, and yeah, it looks like with that, Rocket is going to be able to start overwhelming. The bio's very wounded. Remember, very few medevacs this game. Few Marines and Marauders rallying across as well. Rocket has not really been macroing behind this. Is adding some more barracks and so on. Landing those Vikings would be a big win here. That siege tank still shelling from the south. Oh my god. Oh no, probes. Oh no. That tank's on 16 kills. And yeah, it looks like Rocket's cracked it. I mean, there's still Storm and there's a 4th base. So I mean, if he recalls like a whole bunch of probes to that 4th, Rocket doesn't know about it. There's always a chance, right? I actually think, oh yeah, like if you eat a Storm, this game can always like. I never count the Terran as winning the game until like, because look at that, he's so clumped. He's so clumped right now. Okay, now he's pre-spreading his units a little bit. He's getting his libs on the way. He's building more barracks at home. He's got the 3rd landed. He's taken the gases. He hasn't put on them yet. His SCV count's still rather weak, so he doesn't have a lot of sustain here. But I do like the positioning from him. A lot of Zealots coming out, though. And combined with the Storm on the Marines, yeah, Rocket tries to contain, but what he does is he offers his army to the Protoss on a platter. And this is one of the big problems. You've already done your damage. You need to get home and wait for more numbers. Terran armies are very powerful when everything's grouped together. But at the end of a push like that, you've got 1 tank, your bio's still kind of wounded, your Vikings aren't really useful units in a frontal fight. But if, for instance, he pulls back, you've got Vikings here, and then when the Protoss moves out of the map, you can just queue those Vikings to land in the mineral lines. They're an amazing harassment tool, or keep them alive in case your opponent restarts Colossus. Liberators are going to go across. Oh my god. That Liberator is like, F you. You don't have anything that shoots up. Still, unfortunately, has a few missed rally points across that map. Has fixed it now, though. And Rocket here is rebuilding the economy, but Butzel's got that base up, and yeah, fully saturated, rebuilding the 3rd as well. Butzel's alive. So let's take a look at what the endgame game plan is. It seems like the upgrades are going really well for Rocket. More and more barracks are coming down. He's going to go from 5 barracks up to 7 barracks. Already only has 1 reactor, almost pure tech lab. So it's going to be insanely Marauder heavy. Normally one of these tech labs would be a reactor, but still going to be very good. It's going to be double reactor, which means it's going to be mass lib and then ghosts. Very complicated army to use, and also doesn't have that amazing power of the range libs. Range libs on this map are actually amazing. You can siege up that mineral line from way back. You can do the same up here. You can do the same up here on this base to some extent. You can't be as annoying in the main, but you can still be somewhat annoying. So I feel like Rocket's army is going to get a little bit convoluted here. What I'd actually like to see is Rocket say, let's not bring the tanks in the next fight, because otherwise you're going to have Liberators to siege, tanks to siege, and Ghosts to babysit, and that's too much stuff. Because especially like 2 tanks, no upgrades, they're not going to do anything at this stage of the game. I like that Rocket's just leaving those at home. I think that's a good call. Keep your army simple. I'd also like to see some harassment, because even though Butzel's got a big scary army, 0 map vision, except this 1 observer which has seen everything this whole game. No spotters on the edges, no probes, no spotting pylons. Rocket still doesn't know about this 4th base, so the lack of sending spotters out to the potential expansions is really hurting Rocket in this game. Butzel getting away with murder, and I think he's going to crush this army. There's only 3 Liberators, so the siege units have not been added to this army. It's still almost pure bio, and it's up against Storm Arc on Colossus, so the composition is just way better. Amazing spreads from Rocket. The problem is this was just not the right army. It's just before 3-2 upgrades finished, so we only had a 1 upgrade advantage. And that's a fight you can only take when you get up to like 10 Liberators. You get 10 Liberators, that's a different story. But 3 Liberators, that's before the PowerPoint. This is something I talk about a lot with players TVP. They often build advantages off very tight openings like Rocket did. They don't have a finishing game plan. And I think that's definitely been the problem here with us not rushing. After that first push, imagine if he pulled home, dropped the starport, and just massed libs. I would have preferred range libs, but even if he's just massing libs, if he had 8 Liberators, at that point, this fight would have been quite different. It's hard for Butzel to get the anti-air on top of those, and a few harassment tools would be amazing for Rocket. As the Protoss gets to this army, harassment and mobility are more and more your friend, but now it seems like Butzel gonna dig himself out of this grave, gonna fight back into this game. And yeah, those Zealots gonna come in here. Another warp in there. It's over. It's over. I mean, there's just no way. You're already so far behind an army, and like, numbers-wise, you can't deal with this. Those Zealots, you gotta send most of your bio back to deal with it, and Butzel crushes through the front, taking advantage of it. Perfect play by Butzel. Just a nice, clean Protoss finish here. And managing to bounce back in this game. Storms on the left, Storms on the right. Archon's Colossus coming in. And a lot of bio does come down here, but still got Storms there. Still got Zealots in the bases, by the way. We've got Zealots in the main tearing up the production. Zealots have cleared that entire mineral line. 34 SCVs have gone down. And very nicely done. Butzel crushes through. And Rocket, unfortunately, unable to seal the deal with that first big push there. Butzelbear almost punished for being a very greedy boy and going 4th Nexus off 4 gateways, but does manage to get back in the game. Lucky that 4th was never scouted. And yeah, when you're banking on just trying to get Colossus Storm, you've got so many beautiful comeback tools in the arsenal. So well done, well done, well done. Let's go into map number 2. Down here, or up here, in the top left, in the red, it's Rocket. And down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the blue, it's Butzelbear. Sensor towers do not show invisible units, Drown Ball Champ. Common misconception, that one. Serious Misgivings with a 29-month resub. Love the Procaster casting us plebs. Give it the good work. Thank you so much, Serious Misgivings. It's good. I mean, this is a good learning opportunity as well. So as much as I do try to, like, you know, hype it a little bit and stuff, but I also like to just kind of answer questions in chat while we do these casts. So yeah, let me know. You're in the low diamond final singularity? Awesome, dude. Yeah, so basically what happens is whenever there's like a really standout, exciting, or fun series, I do like to cast it. Because I can't cast all of them, I've just asked all the clan managers and people that run the in-house tournaments to basically send me the ones that are more back and forth and just interesting matches, right? Because as much as I'd love to just cast everyone, I can't. And this way we get to be selective. People watching on the stream get to learn something while watching an interesting and exciting series. And I get the excitement as well of watching a more close one. As cool, the downside is if you crush an in-house finals, it's probably not going to get cast because it's so one-sided. The upside is you still get to feel awesome because you won an in-house tournament, and this way we get to choose the best, the most exciting for everybody, I think. But yeah, so there's a big there's a big thing that happens there where Terran players don't have a very fleshed out mid-game onwards plan. And you could tell that Rocket, I think the big problems, if I was coaching Rocket or someone with the same scenario, I noticed he kind of added a 6th barracks, then he added a 7th barracks, then he added a bait. No, actually he added a 6th barracks, he added a starport, and then he added 3 more barracks. So those last 3 barracks at least were batched up. But before that, it felt like his macro got a little bit haphazard and he was kind of just bouncing between different things he was focusing on. So I feel like I would tell him to just be like, wait, just let's rush up to range libs. Like, bio is not effective past a certain point in the game. Like when they have Colossus Storm past a certain amount, the bio is mostly there to support the Liberators, the Mass Liberator or the Mass Tank, and it's to drop and backstab. Like it's not there to fight in a frontal engagement. So there's this shifting, and I think a lot of Terran players don't fully understand, or they know it, but they just don't put it into action, right? Where they say, cool, I've done a big bio push, I killed the 3rd, I got in a good position. Now I'm on 8 barracks. Now I'm on 4 bases. Now I've got 3-3 on the way. Let's go push into the opponent's army again with bio. And it's still mostly bio. And I go, no, don't do that. That's really bad. That's really bad. Because we saw in that last game, like, there's just too much storm out. Even if you micro like a god, you're going to struggle. And most of us aren't going to micro like gods. So this is why you're going to see me do the same thing. I'll push in. I'll do that push to get the third. I'll commit to it. I'll go hard. But I will shift gears from that point where I rush into the late game tech. That could be 3 factories pumping tanks nonstop, or it could be mass liberators. It's one or the other. One mum, you thought of the same map. Can we get a translation, please, Twitch chat? The fuck did I just read? What? One moment. You thought of it's still confusing. Still confused. I'm having a stroke, call a medic. Yeah, probably. Like, what? Printf's in chat. By the way, I do want to take advantage of this moment. Printf, what is the worst map in the current pool? Not the new pool, but the current pool. Worst map for cannons and best map for cannon rushes. Love to hear your thoughts on that. For which matchup? Let's say Protoss versus Zerg. Stalker's coming in. Reaper's gonna go for a backstab. I actually really love this. He's gonna get a scout, and he could even get in the mineral line and cause some trouble. Stalkers on the other side do take a tank shot. Nice repair. Bunker in the main as well to be very, very safe against that. Reaper forces some Stalker warp-ins at home. That's a slow warp-in pylon. It's unfortunate. Reaper sees everything. Reaper's like, I'll fight you, pylon. I'll fight you. Where's the Raven, guys? I thought he was doing a Raven build, but he's not. Interesting. He's just using his starport as an add-on builder. He's gone double reactor, single tech lab this time. It's gonna be a marine heavy siege tank push, is it? No, he's going 3rd CC. That's interesting. It's a very different setup. Oh no, he changed his rally points. He thought the starport had already landed. He set his rally points. Oh, I do this all the time. He's gonna look back and he's gonna be like, where the fuck is my starport? And it's gonna be sitting down above his army. Oh no. Look at this stupid star face on that starport. He's like, I'm getting out of work. I get to just float. Scenic tour of the natural. Yay. Yay. Oh, you gotta realize soon, Rocket. This is so bad, man. I'm on his camera, guys. We're on Rocket's camera. Oh. Stalkers are in the main. He's gonna be distracted now. That's gonna compound the mistake. It's gonna make it even worse. The tank siege is good though. Stalkers will have to leave now. And Bio might even get a few on the way. Oh my god, a Stalker just bounced off the edge of the map there. He still hasn't noticed this starport on the edge of his screen, guys. Oh no. We're still on his camera. At some point he's gonna be like, where are my medevacs? Oh, surely he's realized. Come on, he just looked right at it. Ah, no! Oh, that sucks. That ruins your build, man. I've done the same thing so many times. He's gonna have his first medevacs out at like 8 minutes. Oh, it's rough. That's rough. Rough for Rocket here. This time Butzel's not being as greedy. He's going Colossus Charge, Storm, double upgrades. Once again off 4 gateways. Let's see if Butzel fixes that mistake or if it is a common mistake. If it's something that he naturally does all the time as part of his build. Because you've been very greedy. You're going Storm, you're gonna go double upgrades, you're gonna put all your money into this for a little bit, right? Going straight to 6 gas as well. Super greedy play, right? Especially, I mean, he saw the 3rd CC, so I'm more okay with it. At least he's got some scouting tell. It says, hey, you're going 3 base, I'll go full 3 base. But you're gonna always have a moment here where, yeah, okay, so he's building a few more pylons, that's good. But he needs to just be like, bam, gateway, 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 gateway. At least 4 more gateways. And the thing is, like, moving out of the map's nice to slow down a push, but like, Butzel's very blind right now. He has very little info. He started Storm, hasn't started 1-1 yet. and his minerals are starting to climb. This is such an important moment, and because the problem he's having is that lack of information, because he doesn't have the observer. He's sending some probe spotters out. He's making zealots. He's building more pylons, so he's getting stuck in this habit of warp-in units, build pylons. You're much better off at this stage to skip a round of warp-ins, get your 4 gateways started before the action starts, because the moment you're dealing with an army coming across this map, you're going to forget those gateways. They're already quite late. Not as bad as last game, though. He does remember to get them down. No! Oh, this is terrible base. He's just walled off this area of his base. Guys, if a drop lands here, he cannot get up there to defend. He's just built a full wall from here all the way up to there. That's super awkward. Like, if the Terran comes in with, like, a Doom drop with libs or something, like, you're going to lose all your upgrades, all your production. You can warp in units there. You can use Blink, but it's an awkward situation to put yourself in. So... a little bit rough, indeed. You got to make sure you do try to, I think this would have been a good spot, you know, put some gateways all around there or something. This is why I do always like to try and have some pylons out in the open, just ready to throw lots of gateways down. But nonetheless, Butzel's been much better with the macro this game. That being said, Rocket is also building a much bigger economy. The problem for Butzel is he's playing like most pro gamer Terrans do at the moment, where he's just massing barracks. And I've seen a lot of pro gamers throw maps by doing this, and it's not just average Joes. I've seen Azure throw games in WCS Challenger. I've seen Seether, this is in my own region, almost throw games, and sometimes get very close to throwing maps because he was staying on this composition of just pure Marauder Marine against mass splash damage with like a couple tanks in there. And yeah, I think, was there a Ghost Academy that just finished? No Ghost Academy, no Liberators, no mass tank production. It's fine right now, but like the longer, yeah, I mean, there's already Archons in there. There's already 4 Storms. I mean, Rocket's got a good spread, but like this, oh no, all of his tanks are on siege. That's just going to be that, man. Storm's going to roll him. All the tanks go down. He's going Ghosts and double upgrades behind this, but yeah, Rocket is not beelining towards the late game tech, and if you're playing 3 to 4 bases, you've got to beeline towards that tech, guys. So I want to hit that point home. Remember I said I think this is Rocket's kind of problem in the matchup, and I think it's the same problem I see 95% of Terrans have, including pro Terrans. Though with Terrans, it's less of an issue because they're dropping everywhere all over the place and splitting the Protoss up. But I think, you know, you've got 3 barracks, you've gone 5 barracks. That's a pretty standard setup. I actually sometimes, off just 3 barracks, will go into a second starport, a fusion core, and I'll take the gases here immediately. Now that's really pushing that edge. But what I liked about when I first started doing that is it taught me that if I could get range libs really early, I could always consistently use those liberators in every game, right? They were out so fast. It was always at a surprising timing for my opponent. And it was kind of like when you walk into Stim as a Terran and you're like, whoa, into Storm. And you're like, Storm shouldn't be ready yet. And you take some really bad Storms. I would often have the same effect with the Liberators, but it was just the fact that I would build this kind of unit which had a lot of longevity and a lot of strength later into the game. But instead, we do often see a lot of Terrans kind of just saying, let's go 8 barracks, let's just keep massing Marauders, and more Marauders aren't going to make this problem any better. So this is something I'm really passionate about because I've coached so many Terrans in the last couple months with the same problem. It's always, let's just keep massing Bio, let's take a 4th base, let's build a Ghost Academy, and it never seems to work consistently. It's really quite weak. And this is what most Terrans are doing. Number one, I think Ghosts are difficult to use and a bit unreliable. I think Siege Tanks or Liberators are both really reliable. And what should we be doing instead? Like I said, faster gases on the 3rd. You can still do it off 5 barracks, but instead of these 3 barracks, either build 2 more factories or 2 more starports. Go straight for mass range lib or straight for mass siege tank. Either of those is good against every composition. You don't need to adjust to the Protoss' army. They're both really good. And then you can actually engage them. Because if you have 8 siege tanks sieged at this point, you kill all the Colossus and High Templar. You can shift click on them even to kill the High Templar before they get in storm range. Your bio can be spread behind it to kill the Zealots. It works amazingly. So range libs or tanks are both a generic long-term game plan that can fuck up the Protoss ground army. If you don't do that, you're gonna have a really hard time, guys. You're gonna have a really hard time. So that's my advice, and the reason I'm passionate about it is there's so many Terran players who are watching Hero Marine for advice. They're watching this. You guys need to come to me. I'm not a fucking oracle who's better than Hero Marine. I'm just gonna give you shit you can execute, all right? I need elitist Terran players to believe me that we're all bad at the game, we're not Hero Marine, we're not Maru, and you need to fucking follow my advice if you want to stop whining in the matchup, because it's just so hard to execute what they're doing. And I also think there's big strategic errors in what a lot of top tier pro gamers are doing as well in TVP in the late game. I say a lot, a few small yet key ones. The biggest problem is people trying to make a style work, which does not work for their skill level, and doesn't, it's incredibly hard to execute. So people need to give themselves simpler game plans and fuck their opponents up really hard. Del says, how would I deal with a Tempest switch with Liberators? Do I go Vikings and Thors or be more mobile? Be more mobile. Tempests come really late into the game. If they have a few Tempests, they take forever to kill Liberators. So if you siege up on a base, you can kill like 2 bases, and the Tempest will like kill a few libs, then you just like unsiege and go home without actually fighting their army. You can also queue libs onto all bases. You can start doing more drops and stuff. Definitely, technically you do add some Vikings in for sure. Thors can help. I prefer the Vikings because you've got the multiple starports. It's up to you which one you prefer there. But the important thing is Tempests are a very low damage unit that are only really effective if you've let the Protoss establish like 5 bases with shield, battery, cannon, storm everywhere and all that sort of stuff, where they have like the unlimited money to the point where they can just chip away at you and wear you down over time. But yeah, generally speaking, I always have the exact same pattern no matter what. So the Tempests don't really change anything. If someone rushes Tempests, it doesn't matter because I always send 2 medevacs out. So my game plan as a Terran, guys, is exactly this. 2 medevacs or 3 go out, unload here, or they just walk across the map. And they're what we call the distraction squad. Say that this is the Protoss' third. And then when I'm ready to push with my main army, these guys attack towards that 3rd base. This is the 4th. And my main army moves out and starts pushing towards this as these units kind of get about there. So if he's like out front my base and I'm like, oh fuck, I got a siege here because he's on top of me. That's fine. I siege my units. I focus on the distraction squad. I stim it in and I kill a Nexus and a fuckload of probes. Protoss has to recall or send a shitload of stuff to deal with that. It's got to be at least 2 full medevacs, preferably 3, and you unload it outside the base, so it stims in, and the first moment's notice they get of it is it murdering a ton of units, okay? And then, as soon as they go to deal with that, we unsiege our army, we move across here, and we siege up the other base. Bonus points if you keep expanding to 4th, 5th, 6th base in the middle of this. Bonus points if you start queuing random Liberators and drops to siege up mineral lines as the game gets later and later. But the important thing is to stop the Protoss getting up that 80 probe, cannon, battery, unbreakable position. So once you start actually having a clear game plan like this, you need to get better at executing it, all right? So a lot of people tell me they try this, it doesn't work. And I'm always like, how many times have you tried it, first of all? And they're like, twice, and it didn't work twice. And I'm like, that's your problem. You think a new style you have no experience with is gonna work? No, practice it more. Practice it a lot more. And I know I'm sounding really ranty, but it's because it frustrates me that so many Terrans are not making any strategic adjustments in this matchup, and I know it's hard. Don't get me wrong, guys. TVP is a tough matchup, but you can simplify your game plan. You really can make life a bit easier for yourself. By doing that. 2 base all-ins are also completely fine. 2 base tank pushes are really good. So that's kind of the big goal there. Have that clear game plan of mass tank or mass liberator added to your bio, and it'll really help you out. It'll help you guys out a lot. So Terran players, I really hope that does help you. This is a matchup, I've had to develop real clear game plans for. And I hope you guys can do that, and it'll make you a little bit more confident, a bit more decisive in the matchup, and hopefully getting control of it. Because seeing too many Protoss getting way behind in matchups and then making disgusting comebacks. And it happened to Gumiho in that map on Automaton. Gumiho just kept making bio ghosts and kept getting storm dropped, and all he did was make bio mine and some ghosts, and I was like, come on, man, you got to do something else. And he was like up a base and a half, 30 workers the whole game, and he just like kept eating storms. I was like, where are the Liberators? Where is any other unit? And he lost a game which he had no business losing. Like, he was so far ahead in it. And I remember being like, what is going on with this style of play? Like, you gotta... In that game, I think the main problem was, because Glumio is good enough to use that style and to overwhelm, he needed to add a Viking. If you guys struggle with Storm Drop, what you want to do is you want to have 2 Vikings added into your army. In late game, 2 Vikings does not cost a lot of money, and you want to EMP the prism, as well as hunt it down with the Vikings. An EMP, 2 volleys from those Vikings, it's snapped out of the sky. It's real important to do that. If you don't do that, and you just have Marine Marauder, you can't really zone out the prism properly, and it'll always land good storm drops on you. All right, so I'm hoping Rocket can turn it around this time. Looks like he's going really big macro style again, rather than the committed 2-base push. Fast third command center. This time he didn't forget the starport, so he's gonna have a bit more flexibility. He skipped siege tanks though, right? He's just got the 1 tank. He's gonna pull that back. Good choice, good choice. Yeah, bunker at the front, tank covering the main, emergency bunker. Rocket, a very safe player, you can see. And now Widowmine drop just waiting. He's like, all right, when your stalkers go in, I will Widowmine drop. And I think that's a really good decision. I like how he waits until he's both got the APM to micro it and his opponent's distracted, preferably. Oh my god, combat shields is gonna go down. I mean, I actually don't mind that. If I'm, it's only 1 stalker actually. That's still pretty annoying. Stupid tank should have focus fired there. I think it changed targets. It's not the end of the world. It's not stim. Widowmine drop. Come on, Rocket, go for it. Go for it. Come on, baby. Rocket! Let's go! I'd love to see him drop a Widowmine on a different base as well. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Okay, yeah. Yep. Hide. Blink's done, isn't it? It is. Ooh. No, that's all going down, I think. No. Oh, okay, good burrow, good micro. Ooh. A couple stalkers, not bad. And the medevac gets out of there. Very nice. Behind this, 4th and 5th barracks. He hasn't added the add-ons just yet. The macro is really nice from Rocket here. But yeah, how's he gonna leverage? I think he could still do a big 5 racks timing off this build. He's building Vikings already. Yeah, so it's good. He could do like a game 1 timing. He's got 1 medevac for healing. This observe is a big problem for Butzel though, for Rocket though. That being able to just sit there is really frustrating. Like that's giving too much comfort for the Protoss opponent. That's one of those little things you want to get in the habit of checking for, guys. Sometimes, when I've got a medevac there, I'll take a look around because sometimes it's on the high ground, so I can't see it till I get a medevac, and I'll take a little look around and look for that blur if I can. And like I said, I often will just go build a turret there as I go to my 3rd, just to like make sure the observer has to sit further back. But this observer right now sees everything. It's not even in pervert mode. Bunker's going down in the 3rd, Rocket being mega turtley right now. And you're gonna notice no consistent starport production. So what's the next step? It is gonna be double reactor starport. There's still a pretty big window of time, I think. Well, maybe not that big, but there is still a window of time to do a big bio Viking timing. It's possible. But, oh man, Storm is so fast. Yeah, like Butzel would die to so many things, guys. So many things. Because he's always going Colossus, Storm, Double Forge. And I always talk about how most GM Protoss players in the low end of GM play like this every game with very limited scouting. Like they'll poke around with 1 observer, and no matter what they see, they'll play this way. Like a low gateway count, double upgrade, Storm, Colossus. And this is very vulnerable at any point before Storm finishes, and even once Storm finishes, if you've got like a whole pack of siege tanks or something, it's still kind of rough for them. But Rocket's been so defensive and kind of, I think, a bit afraid of the Blink Stalker pressure earlier. So yeah, if Rocket could find a way to get up like the faster barracks and stim and stuff, or keep some more momentum going from earlier in this game, I do think Butzel would struggle with it. I think actually like the perfect build against Butzel would probably be like the gas first Marine Mine Drop and Liberator. Oh my god, he splits off drops, but they've all been spotted. I don't know if Butzel was watching. I mean, it looks like he knows drops are coming. Yeah, he's splitting up to anticipate. Oof. Oh, that's really rough, man. If he goes up here and intercepts on the top, that'll be really, really brutal. So Rocket's gonna go Liberators here. He's building Liberators on a lot of unupgraded libs. It's gonna go Tech Lab. So it's gonna be Bio Ghost Lib. Like I said, hard composition to use, but you can definitely win with this. He needs to get 3 Ghosts out ASAP so they can start gathering EMP energy and just start massing up libs. And you can still do it with this comp as long as you get enough of those Liberators out. But that is like the big thing that you're looking to leverage. Get out a ton of Liberators and use that power, use that siege unit. So how he uses those, I think, is going to decide this game. Hey, going to find a nice 4th Nexus here. Butzelbear does not have vision of that. His army's close by. Ooh. Oh. Pylon's going to finish, and I think it might spot this. Okay, they're going to go around the top side. That drop's going to go in. Those stalkers, though, I think will get that one. Uh-oh, don't drop there. Oh no, he's going for the probes, but the army's right there. Uh-oh, that drops toast. I don't think there's too many stalkers, so if he runs really quickly, okay, yeah, save some of the units, not bad. All right, Rocket doing a bit of light pressure here. Unfortunately, his starport production is halted though. And he's building a second Ghost Academy. He's forgotten about the first one. Doesn't realize he has it. So he hasn't built his Ghosts or his Liberators yet. Uh-oh. Rocket, come on, do this. Nice. Just keeping these units alive. The problem is right now, I feel like the Protoss army is improving at a quicker rate than his is. Like more Colossus, more Storm, more Zealots being added in for meat. Vikings are building en masse, but there's only 3 Colossi, right? And Immortals are being built now. It's like back into Immortal production. Vikings will anticipate the Tempests, and they'll do okay against that. It's just, how are we going to actually push into Butzel is what I'm worried about for Rocket. Rocket has more supply. He's got a gigantic bioforce. He really needs to flank around, because the moment he engages, they're all going to clump up in this area. He needs to split half of his army to come in from behind. If he can come like all the way around from the other side, then his split will work. As it is, he might clump up a lot. But Butzel diving in like a madman. That's 3 Liberator zones stacked on top of each other. That's a big bio arc. Butzel goes in for a psychotic engagement and does get punished for it. A lovely defense to start. But Rocket's clumped up. Oh no, he clumped up all of his units with an attack move that he didn't cancel. Uh-oh. Liberator's doing a good job, but the bio getting worn down. The Vikings are on the same control group, I think. Oh no, he didn't have the Vikings on a separate control group. They should have been shooting the Colossus through all these fights, but he kept accidentally pulling them back with the rest of the bio. Oh, his whole army's on one control group. That's so impossible to control. Oh, his whole army's on one control group. No wonder. Oh, that's really rough. Rough ride here for Rocket. I find it very difficult to control this army, Viking-led bio, with 3 separate control groups. Let alone with 2. I mean, the Vikings can end up on the Marine Marauder key if you have a ton of libs and they're the more important unit, but you kind of want to have the more important air unit on a separate control group. And right now everything's on one control group. So you can see Rocket's kind of getting pinned back and kind of feeling like he needs to turtle up a little bit. And we've got a 75 probe Protoss. He's building Tempests, High Templar. There still aren't any cannons or batteries. So I do think Butzel needs to kind of start building cannons, batteries, leaving High Templar here or there. But Tempest's joining in. And he's got them on a separate control group. So he'll be able to pull those back. The main army, of course, just Storm, Colossus, Zealot, Stalker. You always want to keep at least a few Stalkers in there. Especially with this Viking count. Rocket's going to go across this map, scanning ahead. Sees some Tempests there. I'd love to see, you see Rocket's kind of doing a one-directional push right now, and Tempest very good at wearing that down. Storm very good at anticipating that, but oh god, his army, Butzel going for an awkward engage through the Liberator zones. A lot of his army gets caught out there. Oh, where are the EMPs? Where are the EMPs? Rocket does, I think he landed 1 EMP there. Oh, he's trying to micro all over the shop. Rocket baiting Butzel into a terrible engagement. Oh no. Oh, Butzel was trying to micro his Tempest out front to pick off some units, and he just let himself get flanked. If Butzel went out into the middle and engaged there, Rocket's army was toast. I really do think the Storms would have taken it out, but that was very good micro on the fly by Rocket, who is trying to micro 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 4 different units that all need separate things on one control group. The man must have insane mouse accuracy. I reckon Rocket's got some goddamn good mouse accuracy, like control clicking and just moving all this shit around. That's such a complicated army. That's insane, dude. Did I see the Widow Mine hit at 7 minutes? I don't think so, Ghosty Noob. What was that, dude? Did it hit a lot? Comeback train's here. Reverse sweep, maybe? Let's see. Down here in the bottom right, it's Rocket. And up here in the top left in the blue, it's Butzelbear. It was 13 probes. Oh, it was the 3rd Widow Mine that he dropped? Really? Oh my god, I can't believe I missed that. I'm so sorry. It was right next to where the probes were pulled. Oh my god, I didn't even realize. Sorry, guys. I looked away. I was like, oh yeah, they're just getting cleaned up by Stalkers. Oh, sorry, guys. I missed that. That's a shame. Good shit, good shit, good shit. Yeah, he had a good supply. I mean, he was still behind on the army and the economy and stuff. I mean, the army composition for sure, but There's definitely a big mine hit, very impactful. I was wondering why he was so far ahead in supply. Trying to get used to ground army on 1, air on 2. It's hard to get used to. Yeah, I mean, it should be the order of units. You've got to actually hop in the unit tester and at least practice 10 minutes just playing the same little basic scenario over and over. And just make sure you know what you're meant to be doing with each one. And if you're going to learn a new mechanic like that, you have to stick to it. And you need to stop focusing on winning for a while and just focus on learning that mechanic and executing using that mechanic. Because if you never put the time into reinforcing your muscle memory, you'll never get it. You'll never learn it, right? So it's one of those things, it's like you either go all out on it or not really at all. And this is a max packs. That gateway seems late for a max packs. Right? I feel like that gateway is pretty late. Is it actually normally Nexus before Zealot? I mean, nonetheless, it's gonna be kind of annoying to deal with. If the Reaper goes across the map and micros really well, you have nothing at home to defend this until the Stalker comes out, and then you'll have to recall it. But Reaper goes across the map, oh no, and he sees the Nexus, so he's like, oh yeah, it's a normal build. Keep going, Reaper. That's a fast Nexus. And the Zealot comes in, oh shit. Oh shit, Rocket. Rocket needs to either abandon the natural completely, cancel, build on the high ground, and just defend behind the wall, or he needs to pull like 8 SCVs right now. But he's got to make that decision. Oh, he's got to make that decision. Yeah, I think this is actually what most players do the first time playing against the max packs, and it's not the right call because I don't think he's going to keep that alive. Like, the bunker will not really help here. The thing is, like, yeah, you need to just pull overwhelming SCVs to deal with this. Oh, the Reaper's doing a good job so far, but like the Stalker's about to arrive. If I pull SCVs, I build that bunker, but I build it on the low ground during the fighting. And I just keep trying to pull back the SCVs as they take damage. And I go, yeah, if I lose a few SCVs, that's fine. My favorite way to hold this, even though it's not the most efficient, but it's the most fun because it makes the game chaotic. And yeah, that's gonna, he's cancel. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. If you rebuild it on the high ground straight away, it's not that bad because he waited so long. This command center is starting at 3 minutes 20, that's really bad. So anyway, my favorite way to deal with this, guys, is I send the Reaper in to attack, and I pull just SCVs to defend. And I just surround all these units and I just fuck them up. I just like go 12 drilly boys, let's go. And I try to get that bunker up and I try to get Marines in that bunker while my Reaper fucks with their dudes and keeps the command center alive. If they micro like a god, it doesn't work out. But if I can micro a little bit better than they can, it actually works out really well. So it's pretty sick. I remember I did it versus Parting one game, and I actually ended up in an okay position. He got me with his next big attack, but I actually came out of it in an okay spot. And Parting's like 8 times better at micro than me, so. As it is though, Butzel's had kind of free reign to probe up behind this. Has got Phoenix, looks like Phoenix Colossi is gonna be the name of the game this time. Cool style. Very good against Widowmine drop, which Rocket's favored. And Rocket's build-up is just so delayed here. He's going 3 barracks before Starport. I think when you're being slowed down like this, a good choice is to just go for a big all-in. Like, just do a big 2-base drilly boy pull and just go for it. You know, you're behind. You got to throw all your eggs in one basket. 2-base all-in seems like the simplest basket to choose, right? Give it a go. Oh my god, fast third Nexus as well. Good play. Oh, sorry, I totally forgot to read Printf giving us like the lovely rundown earlier. Thank you so much for that. The best PvZ map for Cannon Rush, guys, is Turbo Cruise. And, oh no, the message got deleted. It was at the very top of my chat. God damn it. If you're still around, can you repost that for me, Printf? If you have it on copy paste, if not, don't worry. But it was best by percentage, it was PvZ Turbo Cruise. Cannon Rush apparently is really good there. Oh yeah, it has a really good spot actually. It has a really good spot. If I remember correctly. I remember getting cannoned by someone there. It's like Dano or someone. Actually, no, it was, what's his name? Our favorite British Cannon Rusher. I'm having a mental blank. Grim Reaper, yeah, that's it. Thank you, chat. I literally was reading the message and then I got knocked out of my chat. Phoenix are doing a really good job, guys. They're doing a very good job. Rocket's having a hard time. I think he's gonna go all in, right? He hasn't even built a starport. He's like, I have Marines, I have tanks, I have stim and shields. If I were in his shoes, guys, I would just pull the boys and go right now. Maybe wait for one more tank. Anything you rally across can get picked up by the Phoenix, so you gotta be worried about that. Only 3 SCVs. Oh, it's all about the balls. He's going teabag. Butzelbear wants to play a teabag against this, guys. A couple Stalkers and Zealots and Immortal. That's all he's got on the ground. Phoenix not going to do too well when there's a critical mass of Marines. I love the patience from Rocket not stimming there. You don't want to waste a stim just to try and get a few Phoenix extra. But it's all about the balls. Butzel needs to go out and shoot some balls on this. You need to drop your trousers and you need to reveal your balls right now. You need to place it gently on Rocket's forehead if you want to hold this Butzel. This is a scary push. It's all about that disruptor control. Phoenix being very annoying. Scan sees the balls. Rocket, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Siege the tanks. Pull back. Pull back. Siege. Oh my god. Okay. Disruptor shot comes forward. Doesn't get anything. The balls unable to find the face of the teabag, unable to land. Oh, round 2 of the teabag does get a few units, but he loses a disruptor for it. And the tanks here doing a good job. Remember, guys, Rocket does not have any air units to spot the high ground. Another ball coming in. A ball has reloaded there. Whoa, friendly fire gets a Zealot. A Stalk gets taken down by the tanks. The Marine's going to shoot down these Phoenix, stop them from lifting. Butzel unable to break out there. It does take out a few of the tanks, but one still stands. Oh my god, that ball just got snapped. That was a kick in the nuts from that siege tank. Just shatters that balls. And I can tell you guys, this Protoss player is not going to be having many children, guys. He is absolutely 100% unable to have kids after that. Like, we're talking full-on sterility. We're talking, there's no boys swimming down there at all after that siege tank shot. Uh-oh, Butzel's like gonna try and get some revenge. He's like, how dare you kick me in the groin? How dare you? But the Immortal goes down. The Stalkers waste a volley on the plate. There's too much bio here. Another tank gonna siege up on that low ground. The Stalkers trying to take it down, but the bio punishing. And that tank survives with 5 hit points. Oh no. The kick to the crotch, it's time tested and true. Sometimes when you're fighting someone's 6 times your size, someone who decides to fuck you up with a max packs into Phoenix harass all game, you need to go all in. I said it before. And what's more all in than running up to your opponent, screaming, kicking them in the nuts, and then raising your fist in victory while they lie on the ground moaning in pain, contemplating what went wrong in their life. Good on you, Rocket. GG, man. Ties it up 2-2. My man, well done. So the best is Turbo Cruise because of small map size. Worst is Acropolis. Yeah, Acrop's hard to cannon. By analysis, though, my favorite and best is New Repugnancy. The worst is Kairos Junction. It's one of those things where because New Repugnancy is so good, players are more ready for it, right? People have been playing against Cannon Rushes on New Repugnancy since the start. It's the most Cannon Rush map in the pool. Oh, small sample size on Turbo Cruise, not map size. Yeah, I was like, that's a weird statement. To say that's a small map size, I was like, I don't think that is a small map size, printf. Yeah, only 11 games, but it is your highest win rate in PvZ. Awesome. Okay, cool, man. Good to know. All right, guys, we're going to the ace match. Let's go. Down here in the bottom right, in the red, representing Taste the Bacon, it's Rocket! I like the revenge that's coming out in this series. Up here in the top left, playing Protoss, representing Taste the Bacon, it's Butzelbear. Got a bit fancy trying to teabag his opponent there, but I think Butzelbear needed to just move out and start throwing disruptor shots at that army out on the map. Because remember, there were no medevacs. So the only way you punish that is by jumping on top. You need to actually jump on top with a stim to shut down the disruptor after that. And there's a good chance the Terran isn't watching when he's moving across, and bam, the Phoenix spot the army, you throw the disruptor shot from out of vision, it materializes out of the fog, and they have very little time to respond. So I think Butzel did miss a chance to drop trowel a bit earlier and just kind of engage that on the map. And even if you lose a disruptor, if they stim their whole army, that's actually well worth it for the disruptor, because there was no starport, no medevacs with that build. Very cool though, very cool. Woogie says, why is it an ace match when it's not a clan war? Did I say ace match? That's just habit. It's not actually an ace match. It should only be called an ace match because of Pro League. There's a lot of people have been calling it ace matches just because of Pro League. So whenever you get to a final match, they're like, it's the ace match. And it's like, it's not really the ace match. It's the decider match is actually the correct term. Yeah. Sometimes I fall into that trap. I normally am pretty good about it where I'm like, no, it's not an ace match. It's a decider. But occasionally I fall into that habit because back in the day, there was maybe a year where every caster called it an ace match. And there was a few people who were like, it's not a friggin' ace match. You guys are stupid. But now it's kind of like stuck in the StarCraft lingo. It's wedged deep in my brain. You know how it is. This one is called the rubber match. Or because you need to use a condom or it'll get pregnant. Because it's hot and sweaty. Should always use protection. Sorry, why is it called a rubber match? I'd like an explanation. I don't know about anything about baseball, guys. We play cricket in Australia. That's our baseball. Americans couldn't compete at cricket, so they had to invent their own version where they wouldn't get beaten by India, Australia, the UK, tiny little nations like, you know, New Zealand, the West Indies. They were like, nah, we need to make our own one. And they said, look, baseball, we'll figure this one out. And they made it work. Why is it called a rubber match? I'm actually curious. I actually am curious. The rub one out match? Oh, Jesus, Strawberry. Rubber is a term from the card game Bridge. Oh, okay. Okay, it's from Bridge. Okay, so it's like rich person's old card game. Never played Bridge, but you know, I've watched a murder mystery before. They do, you know, Miss Marple's always watching the people playing Bridge before they kill each other in the dark, you know. Poirot's always like, hey, what's happening? Interrupts people's Bridge game to ask them questions. They're always playing Bridge, right? Has anyone ever actually seen people playing Bridge in the flesh, or is it just something from kind of old period piece murder mysteries? I don't know, man. Apparently it traces its term actually back to the 16th century English game of lawn bowling. Somewhat similar to bocce ball, the object of lawn bowling is to roll wooden balls across a flat field toward a smaller white ball so they stop as close as possible. I like how it explains that. Do you guys not play lawn bowls in America? You probably don't, right? Lawn bowls is like a cultural institution in Australia. There are lawn bowl clubs all across Australia, and all the old people go there and play lawn bowls and just drink beer and gamble on like the races in the gambling room and shit. You guys all play bocce? Bocce? How do you say that? Bocce? Bocce? Bocce ball? It's basically the same thing, right? Or is that the one with colored balls? But yeah, once you turn 65 as an Australian, it's bocce. Okay, thanks. It's bocce. Yeah, you basically have to join the lawn bowls club and spend like 80% of your time there. It's awesome. One of my friends used to have his birthdays there. He's like, yeah, there's one around the corner. So we just go there, play lawn bowls like the only time in the year. So it was actually really fun because we were like, hey, we've never played this game. And then we'd just have a bunch of beers while we roll some balls around a flat grassy thing and try to get the balls to stop next to the other balls. A lot of ball talk lately, but I don't think Butzelbear will be going for the teabag build this game. I think it's back to standard, blink into Colossus. You know, the series has been tied up. Time to stop the weird tricks, and let's do something a bit weird. I always wanted to play polo though. You know, I wanted to just go fucking beat the shit out of someone on a, like, while we're riding horses and hit them with a hammer. So I feel like polo would be like, it'd be a lot like water polo, right? Like water polo, you know how they're always like grabbing each other's junk to distract each other and like punching each other and scratching each other under the water and stuff. Like it's like the dirtiest game. I feel like original polo must have been like that as well, right? You just like ride up and you're like, oh, I'm aiming for the ball. You just fucking smack the other dude in the head with your goddamn mallet. And he just like gets concussed, falls off his horse and gets trampled to death. Like surely it's like got that sort of savagery, right? I reckon it'd be pretty terrible. Polo isn't that bad. It's not as bad as handball. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I personally don't mind a bit of a fond du lac that goes noob, you know, a bit of a Dutch rudder. But I'm just saying, out of all the sports I've played, I do feel like I usually don't have my junk fondled by the opponents. They might elbow me a bit. They might shove me, shoulder me. But it's only water polo where they seem to try to bring me to climax. You know, that seems to be the one sport where making me climax seems to be a high priority. So I'm always like, you know, I'm not sure if this is as much about scoring goals as it is about, you know, scoring goals. It's, water polo is an odd one. It's an odd one, man. I like how the more elite it gets, the more experienced and like organized they are with their fondling as well. Like you watch Olympic level water polo, and it is like they've got a whole meta around how to fondle each other's junk. Like I've seen chicks just punch each other in the pussy on like the underwater cam. You're like, did she just punch her in the pussy? What the shit just happened? It gets weird. It gets real weird. Anyways, we did take the mature language warning off the stream, Pig. Let's try and bring it back just a notch here, as we are getting a bit tired towards the end of a very long week of streaming. I will be live tomorrow as well. And I will be live in like less than an hour with Age of Anthems. So shit, we got a lot on, guys. We got a lot on. I gotta have a quick lunch break as soon as this series finishes. Hopefully this game is not a 45-minute game. We'll see how it goes. This time the pervert observer does finally get sniped. And yeah, I've seen chicks go full Trump on each other in water polo. It's crazy, man. That sport is savage. Savage. Very weird sport. Kind of like how in football, soccer, everyone's a whiny bitch and spends like all the time just rolling around on the ground crying, you know? In water polo, you try to get each other off a little bit. It's just a cultural thing. In rugby, you don't have a neck. You give up your neck once you play rugby for a few years. It just kind of gets crammed. It becomes shoulders, head. There's nothing in between. Does that happen in American football, like in rugby? Or is it only if you're like a linebacker, like one of the blocking players or whatever, the big dudes whose job is to run into the other dudes? I know a lot about American football. Some of them don't have necks, right? Rugby players definitely don't have necks. You guys ever seen a scrum? Yeah, you lose your neck pretty quickly once you've done a couple hundred scrums. It's insane, man. You get punched in the throat in American football? See, that's a nice straight up gentleman's way of playing. Don't be fondling each other. Just punch your opponent in the goddamn throat. Jesus. Holy crap. This grab will be grabbed, man. All right, big threatening push here. Third base is landed, but similar to game one, Rocket's like focused on trying to create pressure here. But Storm's just kicked in. This is an obscenely fast Storm. Run, Rocket, run, Rocket, run, Rocket, run. I would love to see double drops because I feel like Butzel is rushing so far up the tech tree. A timing that hits just before Stim and YOLOs would be good. This is not good. No, he clicked away. He clicked away. He thought Butzelbear had disengaged. Rocket was not watching that entire time. He A-moved away. He A-moved his army away. I've done that before. Oh my god.
Ready to blunder.
So I'll show you. So he comes forward, he's like, shit, I think Storm might be ready. Can't really engage. So I would have loved to see him just split up 2 drops for the main, the other army stay down here. It would have been great. If he does a bit more multi-prong, I think Butzelbear can't handle it. But yeah, look at this point. He actually A-moved home there. Just before that, he A-moved home. He was like, oh yeah, you guys can go home. And he didn't realize the army was chasing him. So he goes, okay, go forward. Let's threaten. Okay, no, let's pull back. Oh, the army's not there. That's fine. Yeah, he clicks there. Boosts the medevacs. Actually, he doesn't even... And then he clicks some units home. Fuck. He accidentally gave an A move home, I think. It must be, right? Where are these dudes going, dude? The fuck are these dudes going? Trying to figure out where he clicked.
We could use some help here.
So weird.
Coming through.
I think he might have clicked on his mini-map. Because you see he's clicking here. He's like click, click, click. And then he just goes home and starts macroing. But he hasn't actually given a move command. And then he selects his army and I think he attack moves at home on the mini-map or something? I don't know. Let's... I'm watching what he's got selected. Look underneath me. Look behind me, guys. So he's got his army selected. I'm trying to figure out what happened. He's got his army selected. And then he's selected his bio and stuff. And then he selects his army and he gives an attack move. Just there. He just gave an attack move home, I think. And he's not watching. This is his camera, macro, depots, everything. I've disengaged at the front so I can tunnel vision on my macro. It's good decision making. Slight execution fail. Oh, that's rough, man. That's rough. Oh, Rocket, I feel so bad for you, dude. Almost made the comeback happen. And unfortunately, yeah, some match fixing. Oh, no. GG's, man. GG's. Good series though, very back and forth, very wild. Thank you Rocket and Butzelbear for giving me the lovely game. Lovely series. GG, congratulations Butzelbear becoming the Diamond In-House Champion of Taste the Bacon. An absolute legend. A legend. A legend amongst